Hey, good evening, internets. It's me, DP Knudten, for another edition of Bookward Bound, my 301-day journey from I should really do this to done when it comes to the creation of a brand new book, which looks a little something like this. Hold on. Not that, like that. Nonfiction Brand, discovering, crafting, and communicating the completely true, completely you brand you already are. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm writing a new book, and I'm doing it live in front of you right now during Bookward Bound. This is my 305th? Not 305th, 105th episode of Bookward Bound, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I might be. But anyway, 105 consecutive days since March 5th, 2020. I've been coming down here every single night, working on my book in one form or another, advancing it forward, whether I'm writing, editing, designing, mind mapping and outlining. I'm doing something every single night to get this book done by January 1st, 2021. And I should be a little bit more specific. I'm actually going to upload press-ready PDF files to Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing platform on January 1st, 2021, whether I'm done with this book or not. And frankly, I'm going to be done, and I'm going to be done early because I'm doing this every single night. You know, it's the only way to eat that elephant, one bite at a time. So what am I doing tonight? Well, I'm going to be following up what I did last night, which was writing a section about Andy Crestodina of Orbit Media in Chicago. And if you don't know who Andy Crestodina is, you might know his book, Content Chemistry, a handbook for content marketing. It's a fantastic resource, one I heartily recommend. And, as a human being, Andy is one of those A-plus people that I just am so pleased to have brought into my orbit, if you will. Get that? Orbit Media, my orbit. Anyway, I started writing about him last night because yesterday he posted a brand new blog post about the value of doing video in relationship to a blog post. So essentially he's saying, I start with a blog post, but then I do a video version, and the net takeaway from it is blog plus video equals a significant jump in engagement and people taking a look at what you're doing. Anyway, I'm always on the lookout as I'm writing a new book for stories that make the point I'm trying to tell. And frankly, there could not have been a better example than that which Andy provided yesterday. Seriously, I was going to write about how he's using blogging as his main platform for engaging with people on social media. But, that blog also has other ancillary social media channels involved with it, but his number one is blogging. Well, and then he comes out with a blog post that's all about how blogging is his number one, but he's finding out that video about the blog is a really powerful number two. And I'm like, this post could not have come at a better time. And so I am, in fact, writing about that. So as you can see right here, as I shift over to Scrivener, the application, I'm doing update system audio. Please update. Install later. Yeah, I'll do that later. Sorry, Ecamm Live. I just downloaded a new update. It's telling me I need to update system audio. It looks like my audio is actually coming is actually being heard. Let me just check. Sound levels. There we go. Yeah, you should be able to hear me talking. If you do, good. And by the way, if you have any questions, comments, or want to confirm, in fact, that yes, I hear you, DP, you can just type that into your comment box wherever you are, whether it be Facebook Live, YouTube Live, or Twitch. And if I've got everything configured correctly, which I believe I do, those comments will show up in front of me, and I'll be able to address them in real time. And that's the cool thing about live streaming. But anyway, Andy posts a new blog post. I see it, totally excited, and decide to write about it. And what do I write? I write this. Having an opinion is fine. Bringing the math is even better. Is fine. I want to keep the is fine. Is bringing the math is ninja. Is fine. Bringing the math is ninja. Yeah, let's leave it at that. The internet is great because it gives everyone around the world who's online their very own printing press, radio station, TV network, and TV network. Sorry, come on. The internet is crap because it also gives everyone online their very own bathroom stall wall upon which to smear their, what's another word for excrement? 4 letters, starts with an S, ends with a T. Yeah, there's a lot of garbage out there, which is why I'm so delighted when I find someone who eschews the effluent and embraces the extraordinary. And that person, to me, is best exemplified by a guy named Andy Crestodina. For my and this book's purposes, he's a fantastic example of what I call personal branding under an umbrella. The umbrella is his company, Orbit Media Studios in Chicago, Illinois, USA. But the personal brand is 100% Andy. I've had the pleasure of seeing him speak a couple of times, and I got to say, he always brings the heat and the metrics kindling that sets the entire presentation on fire. Brings the heat and the metrics kindling that sets the entire presentation on fire. But he's no dry, boring click counter or airy-fairy high priest of ungrounded concept. He's something in between that always convinces, inspires, and, my favorite word, provokes. Just today, as I write, he posted a new blog about the value of adding video to your content strategy. Andy is one of my top 5 follows for a reason. He always brings the math. Where others, myself included, are heavy on opinion and light on data, he always serves up a long, tall glass of tasty information with a convincing metrics chaser. This last blog post is no exception. Everyone's been saying that video is the king of content online. A declaration like that just ain't good enough for the Andy. He just can't help himself. He's got to prove it via numbers. This dude has always just blinded me with science, has always blinded me with data science, and this blog post does not disappoint. Adding video, or actually, let's do, I think it's, check it out here, that's caption. As you can read, it's another great job by the Anydroid. Had I not met him in person, I'd swear he was part of an advance party prepping for the arrival of our AI overlords, whom I, for one, welcome. But he's not. He's a guy who has clearly created a purposeful strategy to boost his personal brand in a way that does the same for his company brand, his company's brand. And when you really get down to it, is there a difference? Mark Schaefer, in his recent book, Marketing Rebellion, that's a new paragraph. Is there a difference? Mark Schaefer, in his recent book, Marketing Rebellion, makes a compelling argument for the idea that the personal brand is, let's give that a little italics, is the company brand. If Mr. Schaefer is looking for a poster boy for this concept in action, I'd like to direct him to Andy. Were I a client of Orbit Media Studios, I'd expect the company to walk, talk, research, execute, assess, and implement exactly like Andy Crestodina. Anything less would be a letdown. His fewer better focus blogging. Now, of course, the blog I've just gushed about above is all about adding the power of video to your content strategy. But that really points out the incredible power of Andy's original content creation strategy, his bi-weekly written blog. Think about it. Andy's become a big name in the digital content creation woods, not via audio or video, but through the disciplined application of the written word. His book, Content Chemistry, The Illustrated Handbook of Content Marketing, is the closest thing I can point to as the Bible on the subject. And apparently I'm not alone, as it's in its 5th best-selling edition. If you don't have a copy, you need to get one. You will learn something and be inspired to actually do it on every 10th page or so. It really is that good. If you ever get to meet Andy in person, and you've read the book or his blog, you'll see that he's exactly the person you thought he'd be. That's because he exemplifies the nonfiction brand philosophy of know who you are so you can be it. Quite frankly, the dude never disappoints. And even if I initially disagree with one of his points, I know I'm going to be questioning my point of view on the subject for at least a week, and then probably agreeing with his stance, and probably end up agreeing with his stance. That's the very best kind of input, and why I value what he writes so much. If you'd like to meet Andy Crestodina via audio, check out episodes 46 and 47 of the Nonfiction Brand podcast. All right, so I'm going to grab this because I'm going to be using this a lot. I'm actually going to be taking that graph of italicized copy and turning it into a text expander. Do you guys use a text expander? When you have to write the same piece of copy over and over and over again, I'm going to say text expander is one of those where you create a shortcut and then it fills out the entire paragraph very, very quickly for you. So this is what text expander looks like. Hold on. Yeah, I'm arranging my windows a little bit here. All right, so text expander, I want to create a new snippet. And what I'll do with that new snippet is I will paste in, if you'd like to meet Andy Crestodina. Now, I'm just going to put name and go number. And my shortcut is going to be episodes. So the way it works is every time I go down here and type in semicolon episodes, what happens? Ding dong. That paragraph just shows up beautifully. Other thing I must point out is that he's executing technique I learned from Jay Bear that I've bastardized, that I've renamed the content Cascade. You can read about it later in the book. Actually, it might be before this. Let's look over here. Excuse me. Content Cascade. But simply put, it's the idea that you select one specific posting style and channel as your number one flagship, then repurpose what you create there in a number of different ways to populate your other social media channels with the same general material, but optimized for the specific requirements of the channel. A 1,000-word blog post certainly won't fit in a 280 character tweet, but that doesn't mean you can't create a tweet that touts the post, right? Read on and you'll see more. You'll learn more about that. Maximization strategy. And how it can work for you. All right, so this is about 915 words, which reading time 3 minutes 39 seconds. Characters, number of words, etc. So this is one of the things I really like about Scrivener. The fact that you can, one, have a running count of the number of words you've just written down here. And then when you click on that, it'll tell you how many words, characters, paragraphs, sentences, average paragraph length, average sentence length, stuff like that, and even reading time. This is a great way to find out if you're underwriting or overwriting within your book. So I'm looking at this and going, is this case story about Andy Crestodina, if it runs about 3.5, 4 minutes to read, is that too long or too short? And I'm going to tell you, that's Mama Bear. That's just about right. You know, it's not too scary and it's not too soft. There's enough meat there. And I think for now, that's good enough. And so I'm going to leave it there. And I don't have a hard quota for me writing every night, but in my head, there's a soft quota of, hey, David, if you could get 500 words written tonight, that would be really cool, because, you know, I need to write this book and I need to get this book done. And I'm not going to get it done if I don't actually do some significant writing. So some nights I'll write 900 words, which makes up for the night that I only wrote 300 words, you know. So the bottom line is I need to keep moving this book forward, and this is the way I'm doing it. So right now I'm going to shift this from the flags over here in the section, the chapter section, or what I would call the section. You can see right now it says Andy Crestodina blog, referring to the fact that I'm writing about him using a blog as his flagship. I'm going to go, you know what? I haven't just written in there. I think it's done for the time being. So I'm going to award it a blue flag. The blue flag means I think the section is written. It has not been finally edited or, you know, fine-tooth combed yet. So it doesn't deserve a green flag, which I've awarded some sections, especially at the front of the book. But it's at least done-ish. So cool. I don't have to worry about it. That doesn't mean I can't come back, read it, and add to it. It just means that I think it's in generally good condition. Besides, I've got a whole lot of other red sections in here and yellow sections that I need to get done. And I'm wondering, do these guys deserve a blue? I think they do. Ooh, I need to give them... Remember what I did with Text Expander? Episodes. Bingo. And this is not italicized because I can't do that. I don't think I can do HTML or markup in Text Expander, but I may be wrong. If you'd like to, Alex and Todd Austin, if you'd like to hear more about Alex and Todd Austin and meet them via audio, check out episodes what? So Numbers app. I keep track of my episodes in a Apple Numbers spreadsheet. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm checking it right now. Do a find. Oops. Don't want to do that. I'll go F. Okay, so they're in episodes 68, 69. They were in before that. Yeah, 2021. 20 and 21 and Alex, come on. There we go. 68, 69. Nonfiction Brand podcast. Dingo. That puts us over 1,000 words, which is always a good thing. All right, so I'm going to save and quit out of that, get it out of my hair. And I think I'm going to award this the coveted blue flag of, yeah, it's pretty much done. Needs to be edited, but for now, it's pretty much done. Oh, and I just thought of somebody else I need to talk about, and that would be Paul Raimondo. And his flagship is On the Fly Video. So each of these people I'm writing about, how they kind of have one main style that is that they excel at. And Paul Raimondo is one of those guys who's always on the fly doing video, documenting, not creating. And that's a Gary V thing about don't create, document. And so I'm going to put that in there. Gary V. And we'll call that that'll be the title of this section. Don't create. Document. Gary V. And it will be about Paul Raimondo. That'll be good. Okay, good. So as you can see, this book is, I have a shape to it. I have a kind of a beginning and an end. In fact, I've written the very first part and the very last part. The exit of the book is already, the outro of the book is already written. But the middle, I'm playing around with. You know, I've got the 2 slices of bread already cut and in position, but the rest of the sandwich is being filled in. And frankly, I'm replacing stuff as new, fresher meat shows up. So as I get a new idea, I have no problem with adding something or even replacing something I thought I was going to have in there with something else. So the fact that it reminded me, oh, Paul Raimondo, that would be great. Bingo. I have a new section that I need to write. And I'm not going to do it tonight because it's a Friday night. And frankly, I've done enough. It's 28 minutes on this episode of BOOKWARD BOUND. Excuse me. And I'm cool with that. So I'm going to say goodnight. Because my goal here is not to burn myself out writing a book. It's to write a book in a way that works for me, given the fact that I have a family, I have a business, I have to deal with everything ranging from COVID-19, just like everybody else, to the fact that my daughters are going a little bit crazy because they're stuck at home after having spent a year or 2 at college and learning to love their independence. And their dad's a frickin' idiot who always dresses inappropriately and tells really bad jokes and doesn't know when to shut up. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm facing. You're probably facing similar stuff. Well, if you are, I feel for you. And if you are, then you certainly understand where I'm coming from. So I want to thank you for showing up tonight and helping keep me honest and working on my book. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so very much. I'll be back here tomorrow night, same general time, you know, typically around 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time or 9 p.m. Central Daylight Time, because I'm here in the United States of America, Central Time Zone, UTC -6 right now because we're on Daylight Savings Time. Or some after that, we'll be at UTC -5 if you're watching from the other parts of the world. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate your help in getting this stuff done. I'm DP Knudten for the Nonfiction Brand podcast, which comes out every Monday. Check out the episode that came out this week featuring Roger Wakefield, and listen for the one that's coming out Monday with Roger Wakefield again. I always do my podcast episodes in pairs, so there's a guest on episode 1 and then episode 2. So you get to meet them in episode 1, and then you get to learn even more about them in episode 2 of what they're doing. So that will be coming out on Monday. Yeah, you can find it wherever podcasts are free. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, yada, yada, ding dong. It's pretty much any place where you can get podcasts. So please check it out. And if you like it, can you do me a huge solid and go review it? You know, I don't care if you give it 5 stars or whatever. I would just like to hear from you through those reviews. If, however, you would like to give it 5 stars, that would really help me, because that's how people find podcasts. I know I look for the ones that have 5 stars. I don't even look at a 4-star podcast, you know. It's grade inflation, but it's true. If you like it, like, subscribe, refer it to others, and most importantly, review the podcast wherever you get it so that people can find it. I love you for that. Thank you so much for helping me out there. That's it for me tonight. So, theme music, take us on out. I'll see you tomorrow night. Bye-bye.